All right, what's up? Chillin, great chillin. I'm the Mighty Mar. This is where thought leaders chill. What's good, Beans?
You already know what it do. As you can see, I'm already decked out in this West Point gear today. That's what type of day it is.
Militant. ROTM. Could you please elaborate to the audience what that stands for, please?
Just letting everyone know. Rock of the Mar.
Yeah.
So you got to get hyped when you say that. It just makes me want to run.
What does that mean?
It's from a battle in France from back in the day, infantry unit.
Very nice.
I want to say it was the second battle of the Marne.
Very nice.
And that's where the name came from.
Very nice. I failed Millard almost at West
I
Point. I
almost
couldn't tell you about those battles like that, but I could tell you because I always stripped
was
away
it.
something like leadership. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you recall any leadership from Rock of the Mar?
Oh, I can't get into them details. I'll be honest with you.
But see, that's what I mean. Like, I
I'm
don't
just
need those.
familiar with the
For
World
me,
War Wars, and certain things that happened there. And, you know what I'm saying?
I just look at that leadership from just a different angle, right? Like just old school, like, hey, let's get the job done. Let's invade France. Let's do what we got to do, get the job done. But that's just completely different times. But I really appreciate the history in retrospect, though, in all honesty. But that is a very, very tough course, but it's very good. And we have a very good episode here today. We want to talk about what qualifies you to coach, right? So when I was at the academy, I definitely needed a coach academically, physically, in all types of ways, right? So let's look at the sports world and hey, what qualifies you to be a coach? Let's also look at why smart folks aren't celebrated enough. I think doctors, lawyers, and scientists run this world. I really wish I could see them on a pedestal a little bit more. You know what I mean? But first out, let's start out with this product review real quick. And then we also want to go to celeb
Wait,
investments. I'm going to put my top three against LB's top three athlete or celebrity investors. Now, whether he has any or not, we'll see. But I got plenty we can talk about and debate on. All right, so let's go to the product review. Yeah,
what we got?
it's really nothing to really say. You know what I mean? Like this tan, you see, you got the pads here, the general stuff. You know what I mean? And I got fanatics. I just did a Hill Bill Maher episode or a short just now, and you wouldn't know I had a shirt, what shirt I have on underneath. I just threw this on, boom, boom, and then I went to Fanatics, and got the army, you know what I mean, Swiss style like bucket, yeah. But anyway,
I'm
tell
loving
me about your drip though, yo. You look where you get this gear from. I'm interested.
it. Hey, I'm loving it, man. I call this type of wear donate. You know what I mean? The moms, you know what I'm saying? Great
Oh, say that
support.
one more time. What's it called?
I call it donated.
Oh,
Donated. Yeah. You know what I'm
okay.
saying? Yes, says, nowadays people know we graduate from certain places. They'd be like, oh, yeah, I saw this online. So she's a big supporter of that. So sent the gig. I was like, let me go ahead and take it out the bag and rock it. You know what I'm saying? So thought it was pretty dope. But I just love that tan look though. You
Yeah.
know. Like I said, we look good with that little goldish tan, you know what I'm saying, on the skin. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely down with the look, bro.
Yeah, you gotta get some tan camos and some tan Nike boots, bro. You know what I mean? There's a storm. Anyway, yo,
It's gonna be hot this summer.
celeb and athlete investors. We talked about this a little bit, right? It's one thing to get your big contract, yo, but then it's another thing to get investments and have longevity because you hear a lot about athletes being broke somehow. It's crazy. And of course, a lot
Yeah.
of this stuff probably might be falsified information, but tell me, man, how do you feel about athletes and celebs that invest, right? Like, do you have anybody that comes to mind, or like, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, just in general, I think the list is a lot larger than most people would think. When you think of celebrities in their realm in general. So musicians, right? What are they doing outside of just making music, right? That's not what individuals are talking about. Is what they're doing on the outside. But in general, a few people that come to mind for me. I know you said in the beginning you dropped some names, but Pharrell Williams. So I had to, of course, show love to the area. You know what I mean? So the way I did, the few individuals I selected was I looked at the hometown front first, right? And Cowboys fan. So I said, hey, let me let me peep some of these Cowboys out, and maybe current and or former, see what they got going, right? And then the third pick was more about, I was like, hey, I gotta get the females involved, right? Show them some love too. So with Pharrell in general, getting back to him, he has a $250 million net worth, but the biggest thing is his most two accomplishments recently that I noted. So he's recently appointed as the men's creative director for Louis Vuitton.
Oh
Most
wow.
of y'all out there, I'm pretty sure y'all seen his collection of show. It was highly touted, had over 1 billion viewers plus even those he incorporated even on the stage, that was walking in and with his gear on and with his designs. That was a big deal. And just in general with that stuff just being tied to a company like Louis Vuitton, which is, I want to say their worth is over 425 billion. And in general, that's just
Yeah.
outstanding, especially for an African American like that this day and age, right? And we all know Pharrell is definitely known for his musician skills and things from the past. So I definitely thought, he was somebody who, yeah, I definitely got to highlight, right? And then his second feat, which is great too, is he's a founder of what's called Black Ambition nonprofit organization, and the real intent behind them operating is they provide mentorship. Their intent is to provide mentorship and to promote more opportunities for Black and Hispanic entrepreneurs. All right.
Mm.
So the biggest thing
Who's
with that
invested in
too is
this?
that
Who's investing in this?
you said what?
Who's invested in this? Who's leading this?
Pharrell.
Oh,
So,
Pharrell.
so
He's still in
those
Pharrell.
are his two. Those are his two big accomplishments. That
Okay.
that recent, that I felt like, hey, I want to highlight something current, right? We know people that follow music industry and entertainers. We know what he's done there, right? So these are behind the scenes things that's not really, talked about as
I
much.
like that.
Uh, and the big thing with that is just that too is partnerships too. Those other large companies that support him as well, and organizations. So Louis Vuitton, of course, is one of them. Billionaire Boys Club, Adidas, Chanel, Heineken, Visa Foundation,
Mm.
and there's a few more out there too, that names that
Ooh.
people are highly knowledgeable of, right? So they're backing him
Yeah.
as well. So him giving
Like
out
the whole list.
scholarships, yeah, I was just on the site too a few days ago, and they were giving out scholarships. They have a writing competition.
Mm.
They're just doing things to give back, and I think like that's also the great thing too, is not only these individuals that are trying to make those investments, but it's also certain investments tied to giving back to the community too, right? And advancing others. And I think that's the big thing, one of my big takeaways from even having this discussion, right? That you brought up. And then I'll move from him to my second person. I mentioned Emmett Smith, Dallas
Mm.
Cowboys. So I didn't mention him, but I said Dallas, right, was going to be one of the players. So Emmett Smith, three-time Super Bowl champion. Post retirement net worth is 25 million. But the big thing with him was he started a commercial real estate called E. Smith Legacy. So that's the real estate game. My boy Lamar already knows. I love talking, real estate investment property stuff.
Mm.
So he has that going for him. And then he also has a construction management firm called E.J. Smith Construction.
Mm.
And then plus obviously a few other investments as well. But the big thing is we know the age of, Will Smith, not Will Smith, Emmett Smith. And that's the big thing. Post retirement, what are you doing when you get off the field, court, whatever sport, stage,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you're doing? Like, what is the next move? Because that money's just not a lot of times going to stay there, right? And I think you pretty much alluded to that. And then
I
some of
mean,
these feats you can do while you're actually still in it, right? Which I think that
yeah.
the ones from the past have taught us that and shown us that, that how important that may be, to the point where
But let me
Pharrell is still in the game,
let me
right? Go
give you
ahead.
a couple names real quick. Let me just give you a couple names. So you gave
Yep.
me Pharrell and Emmitt Smith, right?
Yep. Who you got?
Okay. So I just want to give you a couple, just play with a couple, right? Because yeah, I know you got your Cowboys, 3-time Super Bowl champion. That was pretty biased. Pharrell, I
Yeah.
like that. Louis Vuitton director. It has me thinking about Virgil Abloh, you know what I mean, who
He was
was
before. Yep. He was
a,
replacing.
a
Yep.
pioneer on the fashion
That's dope.
scene. And then, of
Yep.
course, Kanye West, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like another pioneer in investments and everything, really. But I have, of course, Jordan, you know what I mean? $1 billion. Like that's easy one. I watch a lot of NBA on TNT. Shaq has so many different investments in. I think he's got icy hot. Anytime somebody pull a hamstring, Shaq like icy hot, big fella, icy hot, icy hot. Oh, he hurt his back. Icy hot. How about that? Icy hot. Like every time he just say icy hot, yo, for every injury. It's like, and Chuck is like, bro, that's not gonna work. But he's saying icy hot because he invested in it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Then you got Joe Hayden who put in. I'm sure you're familiar with StockX. I know you're a
yeah, StockX.
you're a
Okay,
shit
what
guy,
Joe Hayden do with it?
huh?
He
Two
just
hundred
put in.
fifty thousand. Two
Okay.
hundred fifty thousand dollar investment because he got up with the Cleveland Cavaliers owner, I think, and his son,
Mhm.
and had a good idea. $250,000 investment, $14 million return. And now, of course, he can be fresh. I mean, you see him online, that dude's dripping, like
Yeah.
boss. But then you got Andre Iguodala, who is involved in the $200 million venture capital. Marshawn Lynch on soccer, hockey, and has his own shoe brand. But I just want to give you my counter to your two. I don't want to call it a counter, bro. I just want to celebrate these two along with your two, right? I ain't about to debate
Like
it.
that, it's informative to me.
No,
So I
I
love
don't debate it.
love
I'm
it.
gonna give you actually three names, but I'm gonna actually give you more details on one of them, similar to how you did with Pharrell and Emmitt Smith, because one was George Foreman. When
Okay.
he went with the George, because what do you think when you hear George Foreman?
Already the grill, right? Yeah.
Right. So that's what really makes good business go. Like when you think about great chilling, you think about great chilling. Like we chilling, we talking great areas, we looking at different angles, you know what I mean, of different perspectives. You know what I mean? That's what thought leaders do. And when you think this next one, watch how easy this is. I'm gonna say the name and you tell me what you think of. Tony Hawk,
Skating. Yeah.
video game. That Tony Hawk video game, bro, he
He had the
invested
video
into
game.
that.
Yep.
And that was like long term, like Tony Hawk, like skateboarding, Michael Jordan, basketball. Like you think about
Right.
some of these guys, you like, yeah, okay. And I think Emmett Smith and Pharrell in that category too. You think about football, you think about fashion. But the fact that Emmett Smith moved out of that kind of football, anybody that moves out of their own sport, especially athletes, it's amazing. And so this is my number one on the Mount Rushmore of it's just one Mount Rushmore of celeb investments. I don't know if you know who Junior Bridgman is, but he worked at Wendy's while he was in the NBA. And he also won an Indiana State championship. He played at Louisville in the 1975 Final Four. He was drafted number 8 overall by the Lakers. He had a $350,000 salary. He earned $4.5 million in total earnings in his career, and he owns 120 Chili's and 160 Wendy's, and his net worth is $600 million. He's also on the PGA board of directors. He's on the Churchill Downs board of directors. He's a Naismith Hall of Fame board of governors. Like you don't know this dude. Like this crazy.
But
Like
I
we
mean,
don't know. I wouldn't expect nobody though to. But like that to me
yeah,
is
but
how
I
you.
like that. I like that you went back. I like that you went back because I think that's a key point. There's a few key point takeaways from that, right? Is that because I did the same thing, right? I was looking back and I was like, yeah, ain't nobody gonna know this person, right? But the big thing is like obviously back then money moved different, right? Opportunities was different.
Mm,
So just the fact that, those were those individuals able to not only be successful but pave that way. And that kind of ties in, I think, to what I was saying earlier with, how I will say I think our generation is a lot smarter with that stuff, right?
mm-hmm,
Because if you notice, as I say for real, and I say his net worth is like 250, right? Or above, then Emmitt Smith was like hovering around almost 100 million, right? But pretty much, the generation shifted, right? So it's one of those where that's where we're getting that savvy from. So I think that's dope that you took that whole career path to paint it out to be like, look at what this guy has now. Because I love that. I love that
yeah.
that history on that one.
What's wild is how you just hear about him because of his money, and it always has me thinking like, why smart folks aren't celebrated enough? And then
But hold on, before we get into that, man, I still got one more
oh
to tie with you though.
go ahead.
So Yeah, yeah. So you named a lot of people. You said three, but you went about 12. So I mean that's all right
I
though.
mean, you was going in for a
Um,
minute about them too.
nah, nah,
You was going
nah,
in,
nah.
but
You went
I
way
worked the jab.
overboard. You went way overboard. So
I was working the jab. You was hitting
I'm
haymaker.
gonna just force in that I'm gonna force in extra individuals at the end, just letting you know. Um, but my third, like I
I'll let
said,
LRG know.
fe- female wise, got to show love for the ladies, so Serena Williams,
Mhm.
right? Low key. I would stack her with him in a more current time, right? Because what she is doing is amazing and what
Mhm.
she's done, right? And still doing, right? So in her career, 95 million, right? She recently retired, I want to say 2002-ish time frame. 95 million of career earnings is what I'm saying. Could have been more or less. We know how that goes. But post retirement, worth over 290 million, right? And what I'll say even with that that could definitely, expand, I'm sure, even more than that, right? And the
Mhm.
big thing with her is that she established a venture capital in 2014, right? She invested in over 34 startup companies, and
Mhm.
then majority of her companies, right? All these individuals, like I say, about giving back. They're already wealthy. They
Mhm.
could probably kick back, right? But instead, it's like, hey, what can I do next? So, again, similar to Pharrell, she said, "Hey, I'm 60% of her investments, companies, and startups are focused on women
Mhm.
and minorities, right? So then you look at that piece of it, and then out of those 14 companies, they call it unicorn status, but they now are valued over $1 billion.
Mhm.
All right, valuation. That's her portfolio. That's currently operating, right? So that's where I get that. Hey, she's definitely net worth is up there. And then also too, she owns stake in with the Miami Dolphins, and then has stake in Angel City Football Club. We know how soccer clubs go. You get stake in there, that's even more money, right? More recently, she's even thinking about trying to join that ship of owning a franchise, like WNBA franchise is the word out there. And has made other attempts as well. So the big thing is that my takeaway is the with research and all this stuff and what we're talking about is how do you get to that status? Where do you start? And I think the early startups, me and you had this conversation all the time, right? Is the early entry, when you can capitalize off something, or hey, you brought up Shaq. I think Shaq definitely preached that very heavily with a lot of his investments is, hey, I'm trying to make this investment to support them early on before they hit that expansion, right? So just like you said, so and so invested 300 whatever $1,000. Now all of a sudden that company is worth this much now times 100, plus they're spread that how much capital they're getting in. So it's just one of those, man, where the conversation, it definitely can keep going, and you already know it can keep going. So I just had to put that out there, close out my little list compared to your list of 25 people. But
Oh well, I mean, you had about like 5 to 10 minutes to talk about each one individually and kind of went up all in their details. Like that's legit. I didn't think about Serena though. That was legit. That was a legit find. I can't even think of anyone in the same stratosphere, you know. But I ain't gonna lie, yo. If Angel Reese keep doing what she doing, she gonna be like that too, yo. Like
highly possible.
if she gets smart and just go with fashion, because that's where Pharrell is. Like Pharrell got there through his music. You know what I mean? Like Angel Reese makes basketball, women's basketball, and art. And that's in the same category as music. Like, you know what I mean? So and that's why the WNBA was furious when, no, not the WNBA, just people in general were furious when her debut wasn't streamed. I don't know if you saw this or not, but
I didn't see that.
yeah, so Caitlin Clark, her debut was streamed through an app. I think maybe been the NBA app or
Yeah,
whatever like app was widely accessible by the public, right? Through all these streaming war stuff that we get. But it wasn't streaming Angel Reese's debut for some reason. Like when I think of Caitlin Clark, I think of Angel Reese. You know what I mean? I think of both 1 and 1A. I'm sorry. I know it's she
like
I know.
Carmelo and LeBron back in the day.
Yeah, and people are going to say, well, she broke Pete Maravich's record, and she was so disrespectful when she won the national championship. But like, yo, like this is the sport, this is entertainment, this is like the business. And then she still be rocking good gear, cool gear. You know what I mean? Like she was called the Bayou Barbie, got into a battle, and but like we know what it is. Like she's transcending and changing the game from
Yeah.
the angle that allows the average viewer to be interested. And I think if she can leverage that, especially with her fashion, because I think she was at the Met Gala on like in between training camp or something like that. If she's able to leverage her fashion sense and get investments, I mean, she's going to be right there with them. But yeah, that WNBA streaming thing, like streaming Caitlin Clark, but not Angel Reese. And some kid actually streamed Angel Reese, I think either at the game or through a different website, and then posted it, and it got like a whole bunch of views. And so it
You
showed
already know people wanted to see both of them. So man, that's always going to be questionable.
she has to leverage that. She has to leverage that. If she leverages
Yeah.
that, she can be in some. I don't. Nothing is impossible. You know what I mean? Like this dude, Junior Bridgman,
That's
he's
the
not as
fashion industry
act.
stuff is, yeah.
You know what I mean? He wasn't as good as Kobe. Anybody athlete wise on the list. Nobody knows. Barely knows his face.
Yeah.
So
No, but that's a crucial find. I think that's huge. It's huge.
who you think? Who you think else might, be the next big celeb investor?
And honestly, I think as I stated, I just think that a lot of celebrities and just people in general are
You don't
just
have a
very.
name?
I don't have a name because I got names. Like I was looking at, I know people that are invested in the food industry.
Maybe somebody that's not all the way fully invested, like somebody young. I say Angel Reese. I would say there's a lot of guys starting podcasts and stuff up in entertainment businesses. Like Dame Lillard could be a great investor. I think, like I said, Andre Iguodala and anybody that's with the Warriors could come out of there. Anybody like Oakland,
I know
like
Steph Curry is doing some things,
Steph
but
Curry is doing
I mean,
things.
in general, I just think that it's hard to just name one person, which is a good thing. I'll be honest. Like I love seeing that, athletes in general, and entertainers are getting a lot more, more intelligent with, hey, this ain't gonna always be. I'm not gonna always be on the court, the field, to perform. And like, what am I doing after? How am I, laying that foundation of assets, right? So definitely out there now, and I think they are getting a lot more savvy with it.
Yeah, for sure. What you think, man? You want to shift over to why smart folks aren't celebrated, man? Why is it always the entertainers and why
Yeah,
aren't doctors? Huh?
no, I love that. That's
Yeah,
you be killing the game, man, with these topics, man. It makes you think
yeah.
hard.
Pause.
like why I'm not smart right now. But nah, but for real,
Why aren't we celebrated?
or I guess I could flip that question. You like, do you celebrate? Do you feel like you celebrate intelligence, smart people? Like, and how do you? And if you do feel like it, is like, what is a way that you would celebrate it
Well, I
or
think
that you
the
celebrate it?
simple way is tipping. Like, because if you tipping legit, I mean legit, past 15, past 20, past 35, I'm talking about 45, 55%. You know what I mean? You can really celebrate somebody that is serving you at the time. So, and if you doing that serving, you serving that with gratitude, you serving that with grace. And I'm sure if they serving you, you're doing that with precision and accuracy. Cause I know you be like, yo, send this food back, yo. You know what I mean? I know you're notorious for that, yo. So if you doing your job and you serving people right, like you start to move up like the bar, you know what I'm saying? As far as like, yo, I think I'm worth this. I think I'm worth that. And it's coming from the root level. You know what I mean? I think celebrities and athletes, the league's been around forever. NBA, NFL, music's been around so accessible, but like trying to
But is that tipping is more smart or is that more of a positive reinforcement for effort?
it's both. You know what I mean? Like, so what the point that I was getting at is that if I am a waiter and I'm doing it, yes, I am doing extra effort. Like if I'm a doctor, so right, and it goes back to being a doctor, yes, I'm doing extra effort. Now, tipping is just a starting point from my whole thought process, right? Because tipping is a sign of showing gratitude. I think our doctors can show more gratitude towards us, you know what I mean, as patients. And I think we can show that back, right? So sometimes doctors don't put in the effort. Sometimes scientists don't put in the effort. Sometimes they don't put in the effort. But if you always go back to tipping, like how much am I tipping? You might not tip 55. I don't tip 55%, stuff like that. So it's all about an exchange of gratitude. I think we just do not genuinely
I like that.
provide a good currency of gratitude to people.
No,
Like,
I like that though, because I
let me
think you
say this
said
real quick.
tipping.
I want to hear what you're
Oh,
saying.
go ahead, go ahead.
Look. Let's say you pulled your hamstring today.
Don't say that.
You go. Sorry.
Why I
Yeah,
gotta be my hamstring?
my bad.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
I know your hamstring was like dangling off your
Leave my
bone.
hamstrings alone. They've been through enough.
Anyway, so you something happens. You go to the doctor right away, and he cures you right there. Like you good. He heals you right on the spot. Or maybe he gives you like the exact plan, the exact medication, the exact and like there's like a 2 minute wait time. You ain't waiting there for 3 hours and stuff. Like you in there, like you in and you out, bro. You would start
Yeah,
tipping doctors. You would start tipping doctors.
yeah.
But because there's so much bureaucracy, because there's so much like, and of course it's unknown. It's your body, right? It's not a meal from IHOP. Like there's a lot of complexities to it. You got to get second and third opinions. But what if that just came?
Depending on what you get from IHOP, but go ahead.
Sorry, sir.
There's, there's complexity in some of their meals.
Sorry, Your Majesty. I didn't. I forgot.
I don't mess with you,
I
bro.
apologize, sir. But you go in and boom, yo, you get everything you need right there. Yo, you be tipping doctors. Would you not tip your doctor? I would tip my doctor. I don't care how much it costs. I'll be like, yo, thank you. And you guess
I
what? I
think
will
at
go
the end
back
of the
out and I will run harder because I know he can fix me.
see, I think that what I was gonna say, and I'm in time with what you were saying, tipping, but it's more of an acknowledgement. I'll use the term acknowledgement, right? Showing that gratitude. Use gratitude to, I believe, in that conversation. But I think those are the key things, right? Is that sometimes people just want you to say, "Hey, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hey, you did a great job on my son's haircut. That's outstanding." And then you add the tip, right? So you got the twofer, right? You said you,
Gratitude. Yeah.
yeah, showing them that, hey, I appreciate your skill. Like, and I'm verbally gonna let you know. And then if it is one of those situations where tipping is
Mm.
involved, right? Then you add that as well on top of that. But I think that smart people or intelligent people, however we word it, it's kind of ironic because it's like they're not really celebrated, but we love everything they do, right? So
Mm.
you think we can bring up the Mark Zuckerberg, we bring up the Elon Musk, like things that every day we grab something or we're looking at some or I park next to a Tesla. I'm like, look at all these cameras on there looking at me. You know, it's
Yeah.
just one of those where it's just like we we take it for granted. I think sometimes that how smart they actually are, and like the fact that whenever we're driving something or we walk into a house and or we say, "Hey Alexa, do this," like it's like we don't really think about all that brain power that goes into making that happen, right?
Mm.
So you mentioned doctors, right? They put my Achilles back together. Like my Achilles was gone, right? It was split. It wasn't gone, but broken head. He put it back together very quickly. Engineers, right? They're building stuff, destroying stuff,
Would
doing
you tip your
all
doctor?
this.
Would you tip your doctor?
Absolutely.
Why
I
don't,
tipped them with that
why don't you tip your doctor?
car care prime.
Oh, true. True.
And lawyers too. Like, lawyers, people take it for granted, like, hey, you're gonna get me off. Like, hey, get me up out of here. And then they get paid, right? We can say pay, we can say tip. Either way, it's like, those are those type of jobs too where they're lucrative. You
And
get paid very well, right?
you know why? Like, they probably don't get paid like athletes. You know, the real reason why they don't get paid like athletes, entertainers, and stuff like that is truly because when you're doing your job, it's not always entertaining. You know what I mean? It's not
Spot
always
on.
because even athletes, right? They get paid. We were talking about like Angel Reese, whatever, right? Like she's bringing entertainment to the league. Like when you talk about Caleb Williams, he's bringing entertainment to the league. So that moves the price up every single time. There's nothing entertaining about getting your ACL repaired. Like
Yeah.
unless every doctor had their own little personal reality show to be like, yo, man,
Yeah,
I'm
and you touched on both of those, like, because they do have those shows, right? That certain groups of the population watch.
They do.
And it's funny you said that because I had that in the mind too, man.
But it
Societal
be like the
norms.
worst stuff though, yo. Like all due respect to anybody that's overweight, but like the doctor that treats the 400 pound and 600 pound people patients, I'm just like, bro, like I respect what you're doing. I respect what you're doing, but where's the doctor for the hamstrings, yo? Where's the hamstring doctor? Because
Yeah,
mine is in pain, bro. My hamstring, my back. Like, where's the back and hamstring guy? Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, there should be someone that treats obesity and things like that. There should be there's like a Dr. Pimple Popper.
that's what I was about to name next too. I don't know, man. We sync the night. I don't know what it is. What's with this
finally.
time? This time. But yeah, man, like you spot on. It's hard to celebrate them, the intelligence out there because of the entertainment, societal norms, right? We're all into the action oriented events, right? So it's just one of those where, and that's why I asked you that question on the second part of it was just like, that how do we celebrate them, right? And you named tipping, right? There's other things we could possibly do, even with us doing what we're doing now, right? We bring in names.
Mhm.
This won't be the only episode or segment that we
Mhm.
don't bring up individuals maybe other people don't know that are highly successful in what they're doing, maybe behind the scenes. That's not on the basketball field, court stage, or more in that the boxing ring or whatever action oriented event, is getting all that highlight, kudos, and love. And I think those are ways to, celebrate them, and I know that there's other podcasts out there doing the same thing, right? That people listen to all day. But even if they had a chance to talk about something at work, it's not gonna probably be that. It's probably gonna be like Cardi B or the rap beef. You know what I'm saying? The Drake and Kendrick Lamar stuff going down. You know what I mean?
Mhm. And I was thinking about that too, because the rap beef is such at a height, right? Well, quote unquote, at a height. It's more than it's ever been.
Was at a height.
Because I was literally cutting the grass, yo, and I put in rat caviar shuffle play. I didn't know what was gonna play. I was like, I just want to hear what's going on, bro. It was 10 minutes of Kendrick Lamar just going in, and
Shuffle straight to Kendrick.
it went straight to Kendrick's. All like it was crazy, yo. It was crazy, yo. He was just destroying them like bar by bar. Like, I've never heard anything so entertaining and disrespectful in the same time.
It cut deep. Like I always think back to what were some of the ones we had back in the day. Like I think of Nas and Jay Z.
Nas and
Um,
Jay Z. I mean, it was
because
LL Cool
that
J.
ether joint. Oh man,
But you even think about Biggie and Tupac, right? The jingles to him, like ding 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 ding, dun, dun,
yeah.
dun, ding 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 ding, dun, 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 dun. Like when I heard yo, you about to somebody about to go in.
I was about to spit just now. Yeah, little vibe to them, all of them. But they would go in though at each other though. So you vibing to the beat, and they actually talking
Actually,
about murking each other.
but that's how it was when I was listening. I was cutting the grass. I was like, "Oh, this joint going hard." Then I heard Kendrick was like, he said stuff like, he'd be like, "Yo, if you talk to her, make sure you protect your sister." Like he was just going in.
It was deep. They went deep. I don't know if you can say that was fabricated altercation there.
But it's
They
just
they just went. I don't know. I just felt like they both went pretty deep, So, but
real,
yeah, that's
real.
what the news is these days, though. That's what the news is.
It is. It's wild. I hope no one gets hurt. I saw Drake's house was shot up in Toronto. I
Yeah,
I
that's
just
crazy.
it doesn't get ugly. If anything, just do a boxing match. Let's see him fight.
That's what's going these days, right?
Hey,
It
I would
ain't
pay.
was the prelims. It'll be them before Paul and Tyson.
Oh my god, yo.
Just add them to the.
Oh my god, yo. They had
Hey,
to
that the
agree
funny
upon
part
it.
is we joking about it, but if they did that, oh man, Drake, they added them to the fight before that joint would blow up even more.
That would be crazy, bro. Or if they
Everybody be tweeting
it's
that.
either they fight with boxing or they do a live versus Gucci Man and Jeezy did, but they got to do it different though. They got to do it like
Yeah,
they got to freestyle on it. They can't have nothing prepared.
oh, that's impossible.
Well, no, they would have things prepared in the beginning, but then they'd be like, all right, yo, time to freestyle. This is a freestyle round. The winner of this round takes it all.
Fatality. Somebody getting carried off because they get hit with too many bars.
Yeah, yo. They start pulling out bars out the backpack, yo, and start slinging them. Bars. Throwing them like baseballs, yo.
Finish him.
You said they got bow and arrows like this. Anyway, yo, let's finish with this, yo. What qualifies you to be a head coach, bro? I'm thinking about this for a while now when I see new coaches even get considered for jobs like JJ Redick,
As candidates.
candidates as potential
They'll,
candidates.
they'll say, I got 3 candidates. 2 of them are a
But I
problem.
get it though. You want young energy, but how
Yeah.
do you really want to like be a head coach? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? The first job can't be a head coach, can it? Because even Gerard Mayo, he was like an assistant for, the
It,
league for a little bit.
it's funny. Well, it's funny you say that because NBA versus NFL,
Yes.
any certain professional leagues, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they followed that, which are getting at a little more. It's not as streamlined, straight to head coach, in certain professions,
Mm-hmm.
right? So in the NBA, I don't know if it's dynamic, and then we can talk that. Like, is it a dynamic? But they've had. I'll just go back a decade. I'll go back to when we graduated, kind of like about a decade, a little bit over a decade. But Mark Jackson, right, hired 2011 Golden State Warriors, no
Mm-hmm.
coaching experience.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Jason Kidd, Brooklyn, right, 2013. And then you got Steve Kerr, Golden State Warriors. Then you got Derek Fisher, New York Knicks. Then you had Steve Nash, Brooklyn, right? So that's the NBA. But then I'm trying to think like what you were talking about, kind of going into the NFL. And I'm like, I think they're stepping stones. They're a little more consistent with those stepping stones. I
And
mean, do you
so, right,
agree?
I think you're right because I think that football got so many different parts to it:
Dynamic,
offense, special teams, defense. Not to
more
mention
players, way more player involvement,
more player involvement, more politics, more even the different type of ownership style because they're not even called owners in the NBA; they call governors. You know what I'm saying? So it's not as I don't want to say call it democratic, but like it's just not as like free flowing. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Versus and innovative versus NFL is just you got to be an assistant for and rightfully so because you have to do your time. Even prime like Coach Dion, like he went to Jackson State, Colorado. He didn't go from. I mean, he could have went from Jackson State to.
he could have avoided. I think Jackson State. I'll be honest, he could have. But I think it's the celebrity part of it, right? So I like that you brought up, Dion, because that's them names you hear. You probably are familiar with all of them. I can almost guarantee you that. And even people that know a little bit about basketball has heard all those names. They're not. I didn't name not one person on there that somebody who doesn't know, somebody that knows basketball will be like, who's that? No, those are all known names, right? So that celebrity, like you said, I think it does allow you to skip them steps in a way. And then even then, like you said, hiring young coaches, right? And a lot of times when they do that, the young coaches even have ties. Let's be honest,
Mhm.
they have ties. Dad, so and so, right? So, even then it's like they may feel like that's how they're filling that gap that you're alluding to exists, right? When
Mhm.
they hire those young NFL coaches who's their dad or whoever's in the franchise been in there, they say, hey, they know about it. They know about the
Mhm.
processes. They just assume that it's just gonna carry over, right? That knowledge
And let
just
me say
carries
this about the
over.
NBA too. And I like the points you brought up. I want to add to it. So with basketball, like somebody like Jason Kidd, who was on point guard, I think he went to Cal, some school somewhere in California, I think. Then he cracked into the league. He just been a long path naturally as a coach for a while because it's point you name a lot of point guards, Mark Jackson, Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, like those are
That's
a
a
lot of
good
point
point.
guards.
That's a good
You know what
point.
I mean? Those are the people that are always in the
Yeah.
line with the coach.
Guess who else though? Guess who else you can add that now you just said that? Isaiah Thomas,
Isaiah Thomas, Magic Johnson. They've all been point guards.
Doc Rivers,
Doc Rivers, like,
Larry Bird. Oh man,
dang, just
you
crack.
want you wanted something. You cracked the
crack.
code. CTC.
See,
Oh man.
But it be like that, right? So I'm sitting next to the coach the
Yeah,
whole time. I'm able to look at the game from a coaching perspective. So like I'm almost like a
yeah.
player coach, but I'm like obviously just a player. But I have to do more in the film room. I have to do more.
That's a great point.
So then when I transition, I'm already ready. It's not even about skipping steps. Those steps were taken at practice. Those steps were taken at
Yeah,
college. Those steps were
leadership. Yeah,
taken when I was hurt and I had to people would be hurt for like a year and then they can coach the youngins. That's what a good leader. Because if I'm 36 or if I'm 34 years old and I'm out for the year because my knee hurting, like and I'm on low management, bro, I'm gonna
yeah.
coach the 21-year-olds, the 19-year-olds. I'm coaching them, I'm leading them because I
Or
can do that. You mentoring them to the point where like, all right, yo, we're gonna run this set. You know what I mean? Hey, you got to defend this way. Hey, this is how you take care of yourself day to day. This is the schedule. Then it just be like, hey,
that's
yo,
a great point.
you ever think about being a head coach? Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I think that's a great point because another name they throw out there, and I want to say even Braun may support this, is they talk a lot about Rajon Rondo,
Yeah,
like
I heard
and
about
how
that
smart
too.
he is. And I want to say he may be on the staff, ain't he, right now? And they like, yo, he could be a head coach. Like players are like, yeah, he could definitely be a head coach, and he was a point guard again to your case. um, which is, maybe that's a league thing, right? Franchises are realizing
Yeah,
exactly, what I'm saying, what you're saying. And I think too with basketball, we talk about this part of it too, or me and you all the time, where I think that's an easy sport to, or it seems like an easier sport conceptually to make moves like that, right? Just like where we always say, right, in basketball, you can get two individuals, right, and win a championship, right?
yeah,
Oh, let's get this
yeah.
first pick, let's get the second pick, up on the championship, right? Football, we know that is not the case, right?
No,
A lot of sports ain't like that, but basketball, you can get that Bron and you can get the Jordan back in the day, supporting cast, and you gonna win some ships, right? And I think with coaching, a little bit of that carries over, if that makes sense, where it's, hey, this dude was an outstanding player. Oh yeah, outstanding point guard. Go ahead, give him that shot. Right.
yeah.
So I love that. I love that conversation. I love exactly how you broke that down. That's crazy. Got me
Yeah,
thinking even more
but you
now.
named off all the names, and honestly, I wasn't even thinking about. I'm just thinking about just sitting on the bench because
Yeah.
even Rajon Rondo says, he talks about when he's playing a team or is playing a player, he's not playing that team. He's playing the coach. Like he's playing the strategy that they set
Yeah.
up. You know what I mean? And I like to play 2K because honestly, it's just a lot of the same. It's similar game dynamics. Now, yes,
Yeah.
it's exaggerated, but if you see somebody that is penetrating, just getting in, breaking the seal of the 3 point line and getting to the rim, and then you defend that, you can change the whole game plan. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
it might be like, yo, penetrating dish. And then you block out the penetrating. Now who you got a dish to? Now you got a backdoor cut. Now you can't do that because we got bigs down low or we got athletic wings that's going to take away the backdoor cuts. You know what I'm saying? Just simple like ball handlers, like where we going to trap this dude to his weakness. Trap this dude to his weakness because he want to go right. He want to go right. I was even watching Marcus Smart teach kids how to play defense. You know what I mean? And really force a guy to a side so that he ain't eligible to even cross over.
Think about going back.
You know what I mean? The players that are able to take like Marcus Smart could be a head coach. You just never know. Because what is he doing right now? He's on the bench in Memphis. He was hurt all year. He could be like, yo, this is what you got to do, young Ja. Like,
And I know you noticed this too, man. Like if you actually look in the NBA of some of them teams, franchises, and the staff they got behind them, I'm
mm-hmm,
like, I want to say it might have been Golden State. They called a timeout. And I was like, hold on. They got more coaches on the coaching staff than on the bench. Like it was like crazy. But you can tell that's that they're already starting that molding that next individual, right? Or individuals to take that next seat, take the seat next,
and
right?
then I
So
think now I'm
that's
thinking about it
crazy.
real quick before we close, yo. I'm just thinking about
Yeah.
lineage too, like who you coach with, who you played with. JJ Redick, Coach Krzyzewski. You know what I'm saying? Jason Kidd, Dirk Nowitzki. Like you play with Rick Carlisle. Like you have a tree. You know what I mean? These trees just come out as well. So like some of these candidates, they come from legit
Yeah.
coaching
You
trees.
know, in football, that's huge.
You
Like,
know,
and that's huge. Like if you were under Bill Belichick, it's like, all right,
Belichick, Greg
you're
Popovich.
gonna get hired
Oh,
somewhere.
Steve Kerr. That's what I was gonna say. Steve Kerr
Yeah,
with Phil
Phil
Jackson. You know what I mean?
and Jordan. Like that, no brainer.
You know what I mean? So
Rings too, rings on rings too. So it's like no brainer.
you could pick any of these dudes from certain eras. You know what I mean? They got like a tree that stems back to coaching players. But yo, man, I know it's been a while. First installment. I think we was doing good, man. I think we were chilling, cool, relaxing.
We doing all right. We're gonna
Yeah.
pick it up a little bit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
you. Anything else?
Nah, man. Let's just get ready. Get ready for the next installment. Drop
All
these
right.
few reels coming soon to a town near you.
Big Reels, Hillbill More, Fish God, maybe Black Panther. Oh no, what's his name? The Black Guppy.
Said, what's his own name?
Hey, going in those characters is hard, Joe. I ain't even gonna lie. Like it takes skill to be like Hillbill More, and then it because like he just a hillbilly that don't care. Like he just straight up reckless. And then you got
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a character now, man. And be up here. I'm gonna shock the world.
oh my god, and then you got the Black Guppy. See the Black Guppy just very serious. I have been not feeling too well lately though, yo. Been nasty. Cold in the house, yo.
It's all good, bro.
Yeah, yo. Appreciate you, for tuning in, listening. You know what I mean? Everybody out there, yo. Hey, and shout out to all the veterans, yo. For sure, for sure. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the veterans. Great episode. Anything else, Beans?
Nah, man. We killed it like always. You know how that go.
You already know what it is. Great chilling air.